This is my Ford RS200 hill climb car. It's been sat since 2018 when I crashed it at Goodwood Festival Speed.
11. If anybody's committed a and he's had a moment, the rear bodywork has come off, he lost his downforce, and that's put him into the bales.
Obviously, we've got to rebuild it from the crash damage, but while we're at it, we want to make a few upgrades. First things first comes the fabrication. We're going to get started at the back and we're going to change the whole rear cage of the car. But in order to do that, we've got to jig the old frame first so we know where all the points are to make the new frame. In order to get the jig finished, we need to strip all of the parts off the car first. That means the Alisport tanks, the Riga dampers, and a few other bits need to come off. Haha! It's the bodywork now that's not. If I just take that one bolt out, this was relief. Okay, let's just take one bolt out. Okay, there's no going back now. I'm starting to get concerned, but here goes nothing. Oh no, I thought this was going to go smoothly. What's Ollie doing? Oh no, Ollie, hey! How light is that? That's crazy how light it is. Wow. Put this out the way. Here's one I made earlier. Right, so the back's all gone now, and we just had a thought really. We may as well just cut the front off as well, so that's up next. Right, so we are transforming the back of the car to make some fairly big changes, but we just want to check before we go ahead. We've jigged the points as you saw, so we know where the spoiler mountings are and then where the rear shock mountings are. But before we go ahead and make the new rear end frame, we just want to double check the geometry. So basically what we're checking here is bump travel. So we're taking the spring off the damper, we've remounted the damper on, and all we're doing now is we're checking wheel position at full droop and at full bump to make sure that we are getting very close to the floor when the wheel's all the way up touching the bump stop, like it was as you would have seen. It's not quite touching the floor, but it's extremely close to the floor, so we're getting full range of suspension. And then also checking that on droop, when we jack the car up, making sure that we've got some downward travel, so at ride height, the wheel can go down or up from ride height and we're not like drooping out and losing travel. So we're checking wheel travel, we've got 6 inches of wheel travel and bump stop position and droop position on the back, all is good. I remember working, it was a long time ago, before I last crashed this car, we did a lot of work on the rear to actually change this because I found that we were in the wrong position previously. So I was kind of confident it was good, but we just needed to double check still, which we've done. So that is good. We can go ahead now and make the new rear frame with the positions as they were previously. However, on the front was wrong, so we'll be changing that. Right, now that we have confirmed all the geometry, we did the back, we've just done the front, we've confirmed where we want it, we've moved it. So we found the issue that we had, and we've confirmed where we want it now, and we've confirmed that it's good, which is great news. That's pretty much all the theoretical stuff out the way. We've now just got to get on with it. So it's time to strip the cockpit panel off. That's just like a tub, which comes off the top, and then we can actually get to work extending the rear cage and the front cage back how we want it. So let's go on with it. Keeps getting more and more dramatic every time. It's like a pogo stick, it's gonna take off soon. With the old chassis frame cut out and the new design confirmed, Ollie can now start putting the frame back together how we want it. The most crucial part of this task is making sure everything is square. So the front's all done now. It looks awesome. We're really happy with the changes. We found some problems with the front geometry, so we have corrected those now. With the front frame all done, it's got to be finally welded, but we'll do all that at the end. We're just getting everything assembled how we want it at this point. We move from the front back to the rear. So in the rear, you've already seen us cut it all off, or Ollie cut it all off, actually. I don't keep saying us. Ollie cut it all off, I was just watching. I was actually turning some spanners, that's about it. I've even got my gloves on. At this point now, we weren't changing the rear geometry because we were happy with it. So it's the big task of using all that fancy performance metal that they've supplied us, getting tubes in everywhere. There's tubes, basically picking back up on the jig frame so that we can get the chassis back together how we want it, or how Ollie wants it. So cut basically to now, lots of making roll cages, because in a minute, this is going to look awesome, and I'm very excited. Let's get cracking. The RS200 hill climb project is well underway. I'm so excited. Ollie's already started. I missed the start, but watch this. Go, Ollie, go. Go, Ollie, go. Right. Tell them what you're doing.
As you can see before, we've got all the mounting points of the cage, all these points all done, bolted on now for final assembly on that point. And now we've just laid in the first lot of tubes, just triangulating back to the rear shock points here. So that's got everything set now, which will take a lot of the load. And then from there on now, we're just going to join that tube down to that base point, just tying everything all in, and then fill in the rest with some smaller tubes and the rear spoiler mount.
On his knees ready. So while Ollie's not making too much noise, I thought I'd try and explain to you why we're actually doing this, because that's probably quite important for you guys at home to understand. So where I said earlier, we haven't changed the geometry of the suspension on the rear, we have changed the overall design of the chassis. So we previously modified the geometry, like the pickup point of the suspension, to get the geometry where we wanted it. But in doing so, all we did was we just modified those points. We didn't alter the chassis as such. So what this is this is us now taking the time to go back and let's say redo the chassis design to suit the updated pickup points that we'd already adopted. So essentially the cage was up here before, 4 inches higher, probably 100 mil higher. And then we dropped this pickup point down. So this pickup point used to be up here. We dropped it down to gain the correct geometry with the suspension. But then we left the chassis up here. So what we've done now is where we've redone the chassis, we've taken that down. So it's now essentially where the pickup point is exactly where the suspension meets the chassis. And we've done some small other changes. We've actually on larger tube thickness. This performance metal is thicker than it was before because I think it was probably on the edge of safe. So we've gone from 1.5 up to 2 mil T45 material. Bit heavier, but we're putting less tubes back in. We used to have X's in all the gaps. We're leaving them out now because we need those for space for components that we've moved. So where we've lost some tubes, we've gone thicker on the ones that we are keeping so that essentially the strength is the same, probably better actually. So that's why we're changing it. We're changing it because we've moved all the parts around in the car, so we needed to make space, and we've also updated the geometry. So we're basically just updating the chassis to meet or match the geometry we're now running. We had like let's say a mock-up rear spoiler mount. This is probably the most important change. We had already done it, which you've seen in the video, we cut it off. So it was done previously, but I've never driven it. We just mocked it up, but we never used it. And that's basically putting the rear spoiler on the back, mounted directly to the chassis, rather than be mounted to the bodywork, so it rips it off.
If anybody's committed up,
it's mounted directly to the chassis. So that means fabricating a frame off the chassis to hold it. And that we're changing that now, we're making that lighter, because I think it was a bit too big and too strong. So we're going lighter and smaller on the back because weight is very important with this car. And we don't want to compromise strength, but we want to be as close to the edge as we possibly can be. So yeah, so that's why we're changing the rear chassis, and that's why we're changing the rear spoiler frame, or adding, we had it, but this is a new addition to when I first drive this car, but we had already had, like, say, the first revision. This is the second revision now. I'm quite well known for multiple revisions to get things right. I just like to see them done properly. So this time it's done absolutely bang on. And like I said, I'm excited to see it finished.
So all we're doing here at the moment now is just double checking our measurements of our dating point of the bulkhead here. We've got our crucial pickup points is where the shock mounts, and these tubes are obviously so important where they go, but so that's where we're just checking the measurements like that as we go, just to put everything off the front datum point here. And then we've got our jigged off shock towers and jigged off wing mount towers, and then it's just filling the tubes in between, but obviously the tube's still got to be in the right place. And with a notch, it's very easy on the tube with the radius edges to try and get it all in the same place. So just double checking as we go. Go up to the 25mm and still be able to access all the Allen keys.
Yeah, so I guess that's what it was before.
Yeah, just on
but obviously it's at a slightly different angle.
A little bit more of an angle, yeah, with it being lower down, it's bringing it back a little bit, but just with, yeah, should be able to access that fine.
Okay. All I was thinking is whether the plate is as strong as the clevis, or whether we go into a clevis because it's stronger. I don't know, like, obviously it's not the original RS200 design is clevis
Big
down to these two holes. Yeah. Versus the plate on the top. Is this, what are they, with nuts or are they weld nuts?
Welded nuts on the bottom side. I think it should be fairly.
Yeah, I guess there's four of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite close to the corners. So.
Just, yeah, I guess it is. It's one of those, is what you're doing it. There's no need to go larger tube. I think that's perfectly large enough tube. Yeah. So if it will fit, it may as well stay like it rather than add to the clevis.
Yeah.
Saves on extra work.
Yeah, gets it.
I know how I love adding extra work for no reason, but.
So what have you changed?
Basically, there was a discussion about an original RS200 design has a clevis that goes down over this pickup point and uses the bolt that goes through the arm to bolt basically the chassis cage down to the original tub chassis. So this car originally was changed to these 4 bolt fixings. So we had a tube from here down on this cage, the tube from here down to 4 bolts. And I was just trying to decide, do we go back to the original RS200 design with clevis in it and have a bigger tube, or keep this design? And we're basically saying we can have the tube size we want, which is the same as it was, but we mocked out with a smaller size. But it works. We're just going to stay with it as it is because that tube size works with that plate, and there's no need to change it back to the original design. It's fine like that, it works. So rather than add extra work that I like to do normally, in this case, let's get this thing done.
Right, so we've just gone through and got all the bars tacked on now and welded underneath wherever any bars were landing into. And now I'm just going through and double checking all the measurements, that nothing's moved in the tacking process or anything like that, and everything's still where we want it. And now I'll go through and put a few more like stitched areas to make sure nothing really doesn't move, and then we will move on to making the spoiler mount to where I am. And then finally we can get this jig off and have a proper look to see what it's actually going to look like when it's all said and done.
As you can see, Ollie is working his way through the rear spoiler frame. He's machining some new mounting points out of billet and then welding tube onto them. This will make sure the loading is spread evenly and as strong as possible. So the rear frame, chassis frame is now all together. All the parts are in there and partially welded, so that's stitch welded up. He's welded all the areas that had to be welded so that it could all be assembled, because obviously you lose access to some areas as you go. He's now moved on to the rear spoiler frame, which is now smaller than it used to be, but he picked up the same points. He's doing some final welds on that frame, so that's structural as well, at which point we can then pull this jig frame off, which are all these silly bars, all these random bars that are scattered everywhere to give us our pickup points. As soon as we're happy this is welded enough, we can break that jig frame off. We can actually see the main chassis frame and the design that we've chosen for the first time. And at that point then we'll decide what extra bars we want to add in. I want to add in some more cross bracing in the rear spoiler frame, but I don't want to decide that until we've seen how it looks with all the jig frames out of the way. So this is a milestone moment. It looks awesome. I'm really happy with how the changes have come together, but I'm really excited to see it off for the first time, off the jig. So the moment of truth is pending any minute. He's now cutting off the jig frame so that we can get all of the jig frame out part by part, or piece by piece, part by part, piece by piece, so we can actually see the design, or let's call the art that Ollie has created. Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned. It's really close now. I can't wait to see it, and then we're going to bang some more bars in and go racing. Guys, what did you say?
I did.
That looks sick. I was a little bit distracted over here a minute ago. Didn't even notice what just happened, but what just happened was, oh, honestly, talking to you lot. I'm looking for myself. Tell you what, I'm going to look, you have a look. Have a look, and I'll talk to you in a minute. The masterpiece. It looks so good. It does look really good. Come on, Ollie, say something.
Looks a lot better kicking up at the back.
It does. I think this, obviously, it would make much more sense when the dampers are on.
Yeah.
Because obviously the dampers were here before and the chassis was here. So with the dampers on, the car just looks so much better balanced. It would be like this, there was this strange offset that wasn't necessary. But yeah, it looks so much better that it comes down and kicks back up again to the spoiler. This, in the right size tube, looks way better.
Yeah.
With also the different layout and tubes. That look, well, it all looks better. It looks way better, it does.
Yeah, all tied in nicely now.
Awesome work. Awesome work. That is what this shit's all about. Nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah, stoked.
What are you doing now?
I don't know. Now what?
Now we've got to decide how we'll brace it up.
Yeah, cool, you tell him. He knows what he's doing. I ain't got a clue, I just thought.
We'll add some more braces in here to tie these spoiler points, whether we go down or back up to the centre there. We've got a bit of a conversation, a bit of thought on that.
Right, so go on then, we may as well get stuck straight into it. So, my theory, I think when we taped it out, we were having a WhatsApp conversation, obviously I wasn't here, Ollie was here doing it. So he did some tape and he did some pictures or whatever. From what I remember, I wanted to go down to here, these diff bolts. So my plan was to come from here to there with some more of these like caps.
Yeah.
To make it bolt on still, but I didn't really want an X in there so much. I wanted to kind of replicate this V. As you can tell, most of this is about aesthetics. If it looks good, it is good. If it looks shit, it's shit. So if you can get it looking nice, generally it'll work. It's a good design and it's strong as long as it looks good. So we just gotta make it look good, easy as that. So the question for me is, can we come from here to there? Not really. Can we come from there to there? Not really. Do we come from here to there? But like, you want to pick up on this really, don't you?
Yeah, I'd say from here to the middle there, keep it up out of the way of the exhaust. But I feel the force is going to be pulling this away.
Yeah.
And trying to rip off these points.
What size are we thinking as well? Same size or
25,
smaller?
yeah.
Leave it 25?
Yeah. Come from here to there maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
That was a nice analogy. Because going to there is supporting us with our pull strength, and going to there is supporting us with our push strength. They both do the same thing. One's stopping it from middle push down, one's stopping it from middle pull back. So they both do the same thing, really. Just need one or the other. It's just whether you're going to get into...
Probably going like that, it's still going to have like that way.
Yeah, I think you'd have to come to this one, wouldn't you? You'd have to come up to there.
But then this one would just be
floating.
The weakest point.
Yeah, well, I think what I would triangulate that.
Yeah, to there, yeah.
To make this a triangle. Because I think what you're going to have to do is, we haven't allowed for yet, is there still the rear diffuser pickups?
Yeah.
So I think what I was thinking is go from there to there down. So there's like a straight line through that to tie this into the end. Your idea of there to there would look quite good, wouldn't it? I just didn't want to add more. I wanted to try and keep this as clean as possible, which is why I was trying here, because there's already bolts to pick up on. So we're not trying to, I don't want to add in too many more like additional fixings. We've obviously had to add these ones here because I didn't want to go onto the shock mounts. We could have just gone to the back of the shock mounts, but I didn't want to do that. So this is better that we're not on there. So we've had to add these. So I'm just trying to look for where else we can go without adding more pickup points, which obviously the diff bolts are already there. So thinking diff bolts is just, where do we go from the diff bolts? Well, you're thinking here. Just go, maybe you can go one though.
Yeah, single, like it'd be a single, yeah. So it'd be a set of V back here then.
Let's get the dampers on, Ollie. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I just had an idea. Let's get the dampers on so we can see what it looks like with the dampers on. Ollie, go
nice
dampers.
Rigers.
Oh, he's already got them?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Ollie must have had a good idea. See, did you see that? Ollie just dropped a tag. A sponsorship mention. Ollie went, oh, look at these nice Rigers. They are nice Rigers. after much debate, we have come to the conclusion that we're going to go down from 25. We tried going down to 19. We're going to drop all the way down to 16 mil by 2 mil, so it's thick, so it's still strong, but 16 by 2. And we're going to put those in from this point here down to that point there. So from the lower rear spoiler pickup to the upper rear differential pickup or bolt fixing. That will give us the sideways triangulation we need, because obviously with the word triangulation, you just must see a triangle. There's our triangle. That gives us the triangulation we want. One on that side, Ollie can show you on that side. So there'll be one there, one here. That will then add the sideways support we need and add vertical support, because obviously the rear wing will put vertical loading on this frame. So that gives us additional vertical support and a bit of sideways support, or horizontal support, I guess. So yeah, decision made after much debate. Time for Ollie to make some more stuff. Ollie has now got the rear, let's call them the rear stays in. So there's the bars that go down from the spoiler mount down to the differential pickup. They're in now, as we finally decided we wanted to do them. He's put a bit of weld on them before he's finished. He's then going to go through the back and put a little bit more welding on all of it, especially the shot pickup points need a bit more welding, because what our next step now is to put the wheels on it. And actually just do some more checks. I'm going to put the wheels on it and put it on the ground. I'm also going to mock up the rear spoiler and the rear diffuser, so we know that that they fit, and they fit where we want them to. They should be, in theory, because we jigged everything, but for just extra checks, we're going to put the whole back together and put it on the ground, which is also really, really exciting, because as you've seen, I'm a very visual person. I want to see it all come to life. So I want the wheels on, the rear wing on, spoiler on, diffuser on, then I can actually see and picture it all in place, because there's still next steps to come in the future. So that will be a big milestone point for us to get the back together. And of course, he's done the back, but to get the car put together or kind of mocked together and get it on the ground, he's got to do the front. So we've got to weld the front up enough to make it structural so we can get the suspension on and the wheels on and put the weight of the car on the ground. So that's next. It's really coming together now. I'm going to take this time actually to explain to you what we changed on the front, because for some reason, when we did the front, we showed you doing the front, but I didn't ever tell you why. So to fill that gap, basically, we cut the front off as you saw, and what we actually did was we moved the front end back. So we didn't change the height. Like in the rear, we moved the height of this cross tube down 100 mil. This tube was already the right height, but like I said, we changed the front geometry quite a lot. What we did was we moved this cross tube back 100 mil. It was here, and we moved it back 100 mil. And that is because, even though we didn't change the height of this, what we did was we changed the shock length and the pickup point on the suspension arm below. So to allow for all that to change, we had to move the suspension top, the upper suspension pickup point back to be able to put the damper behind. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So before, this was the top suspension arm. You're gonna have to have a look at this properly because you won't understand. So this suspension arm was on here, like this, and the shock mount or the suspension pickup point was here, on top of the arm. And then this baby little damper, beautiful still, not knocking it obviously. As always, a beautiful Reiger damper, four-way adjustable with roll control. Was mounted here, but as you can see, it's extremely short. And the problem that I was having with the front of the car was we were lacking travel overall, but not only were we lacking travel, we were mainly lacking droop travel. So basically the car had no droop travel. At ride height, it was on full droop, so the shock was fully extended. And all we had was a small amount of compression or bump travel. So what that meant was if we ever got into any undulations or bumps, the car could essentially lift off the ground, the wheels wouldn't stay on the ground. There was no down travel. So to fix that, we need to keep the amount of bump travel we had. And to get more travel, you have to just run a longer shock. So to run a longer shock, because this one's so short and it was in here like this, to run a longer shock, the only choice was to move the pickup points apart. So we've got to raise the top one up or the bottom one down. So the top mount couldn't go up because this cross tube is where the bonnet sits. So the bonnet or the hood comes over here and sits directly on top of this. So there's no way we can move this point up unless we wanted to have like an off-road truck style and have the shock up through the bonnet, which we didn't want to do. So that couldn't move up. So the only alternative for that is to move the lower pickup point down. So where the shock bolts to the bottom goes down. So this arm out the way with the mount on top. In comes the arm that's fitted currently. Here's one I made earlier. We've already fitted it to the car. The shock mount is down below on the side of the arm, which I can show you in comparison. This one's on top here. This one's down here below. So that means that the point is moved probably 75 millimeters down. In comes my replacement damper. Again, Reiger four-way, exactly the same. But you can see in comparison the difference in length. So it's longer. It's probably 100 mil, over 100 mil longer actually. And what that means is it mounts on the top at the same height, but because we moved it backwards, it now means we can mount this down behind the arm. So instead of mounting on top of the arm here, it mounts behind the arm, down here, and means we're running a much longer damper. Gives us the 6 inches of wheel travel we wanted versus I think we had 3.5 or 4 inches before. Actually gives us the exact same amount of wheel travel as we have on the back. So we're matched equal front to rear. And it gives us no more bump travel, but it gives us the 2 inches of droop travel we were looking for. So the wheels can follow the ground if for whatever reason they need to. Yeah, let's get these fitted because I wanted to talk to you about them before we fitted them because it was easier to explain when I could show you the old setup versus the new setup. Let's get the new setup on. Now Ollie's welded the front up enough to make it structural. Once we've got the suspension dampers on the car, we can actually put it on the ground. So stay tuned, this bit's starting to get exciting. Right, so now all the welding's done, well, enough welding is done to get the car rolling and just check everything out. The next job is to get some of the bodywork on. Like I said earlier, I want to visualize the key components in place. So that is this bad boy, which is a carbon fiber Formula 1 spoiler, which runs on this car. So this has been mounted on the rear bolt-on frame, which obviously you've seen a lot of work go into that. So that frame was to mount this spoiler. So we're gonna get this mounted on. The rear diffuser, again, carbon F1 style, goes up underneath. That's been mounted on. So these two components go on the rear, and then we'll move to the front and get the front together. But for now, let's get this masterpiece on the car. So obviously while I'm doing this, it's worth explaining to you what the situation is here. So normally this, well, obviously the car's normally got a big clamshell piece of bodywork that covers the whole back of the car. So for now, it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna do it with just the added on aero parts. But normally there's a whole piece of bodywork that covers this whole area. So I haven't yet finished that part, but this spoiler or rear wing will be quick release. So basically I'd have like a latch system. So it's got slots in the back of the bodywork where it goes in through the bodywork, because the whole idea of this was we've mounted this onto the chassis and not onto the bodywork, whereas before this just clipped straight onto the bodywork. So when you took the whole rear clam off, the rear wing came with it. Even though it's a little bit more complicated, now the rear wing is supported by the chassis, it can go on without the bodywork. At the moment it's easy because we just nut and bolt it on and it fixes on, no problem. Now, it's a lot harder to get to access those fixings when the bodywork's on, because obviously they're inside the car. With the rear window and everything closed, you can't. So what this has got to be is quick release. So this will basically go on through the gaps, it will hook on and then clamp down with pop pins, little pins that pop in, and then that'll hold it down, because obviously all the forces are pushing it down. So all the pins doing is stopping it from lifting up. And then to release it, you have to just pop the buttons or pull the pins, and then it will just come on and come off. So it'll basically be quick release fixing. But for now, it's just good old nut and bolts to hold it in place, because all we need is it to be in the right position. So that was all a little bit agricultural, but it will be fancy as beep. Diffuser on next, and then the rear bodywork's on, or the rear aero stuff's on. And then we can, like I said, visualize it, get the front on, then get the wheels on. It's getting exciting, guys. Stay tuned. If you haven't clicked off, thank you very much. Backs all together, well I say all together, we put the rear wing and diffuser on loosely. Front is just one complete piece, bumper and splitter, so all one unit. So let's lift that on, put that on, then that is pretty much the aero package complete. Then we can get the wheels on and see how this bad boy looks. Front bumper splitter is on, rear spoiler wing is on, rear diffuser is on, all four wheels are on. This has been a long time coming in this video. It's been a long one, I think. Hopefully there's been lots of information that you've enjoyed hearing, but the main moment is on us, or up on us. It's all done, the front suspension's finished, everything's marked up how we wanted it, so it's time to see how it looks. Let's get it on the ground and enjoy our hard work. Guys, to summarize, this has been awesome to see it come together like it has. The whole new rear it's just awesome. It's made a massive improvement, a massive difference to how it looks, also how it'll perform. It's lighter, stronger. Having this rear frame is removable is a massive benefit. I'm really, well, over the moon really with how it's come together. That's awesome. Then moving on to the front geometry change will have made a massive difference to the performance. It looks awesome, obviously, but the main aim of that was to get the front geometry working, and just the general look of this car is just amazing. And I don't know what you guys think, but I love this car. This is the ultimate thing on four wheels for me. Remember, it's 1,000 horsepower. It weighs under 1,000 kilos. So that's 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. It's got tires almost that touch in the middle like a drag car. It's all-wheel drive. I mean, if you don't know this car, check it out in other videos that I've put out. It's absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with how it's come together. I'm really happy with how it's progressing. Stay tuned for the next video about the build of this car. We've done chassis fabrication now. We're going to be moving on to dry assembly next, which is when we're going to put all the components we've already got into the car, mount them, and basically get the car built complete before we then strip it down later on and repaint and refinish everything. It's a long process, but to do it right, it takes a long time, but we've got to do it right. This thing's amazing, it's fast, it's crazy. Stay tuned for the next one. As always, thank you very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. There's more exciting stuff coming from this and everything else I get up to. Like the video if you liked it, and also let me know what you thought in the comment section. One more thing, notification button, because I think that tells you when I upload. Let me know what you thought, like I said. Did you like it? Do you want to see more of this? Do you want to see more of a different car? I do read them. I do take it on board in the next one.